freshman, taken to a Final Four 2-3 years later. Lynx basketball was a joke. And she didn't turn that around alone. Cheryl Reeve, Maya Moore, Rebecca Brunson, Simone Augustus, she had lots of help. But she put them over the top. And she led the way. And we don't know how well this group of players would have played together without her running the show. She also took Connecticut Sun to 2 finals in her first 2 years right off the Final Four. So I don't think you can underplay this story.
No, I think she's the most influential athlete, period, that this state has produced.
Good way to put it.
You know, you look at the popularity of the women's game in this area is unparalleled, across the country. I mean, it's big in Connecticut, it's big in Tennessee, a few of those places, but she literally built this with her own hands. And she's been not only incredibly accomplished on the court, but she's the ambassador off the court as well. And there are literally thousands of girls and now women who are girls when she first burst onto the scene, who got interested in playing basketball, in playing sports at all because of Lindsay Whalen. And now their children will have opportunities that were not available before because of Lindsay Whalen. And there's no way to undersell any of that, in addition to a Final Four, to 4 championships, to 2 gold medals, to 2 world championships. She's won as much as you can possibly win. And in a state that has, turned sports heartache into its major domestic output, this is one athlete who never let you down, who delivered in big moments, who won things, who brought her teams to the mountaintop and didn't disappoint. And so for all of those reasons, and to do it at home, obviously, and to do it for her alma mater, for her professional team, I mean, I don't know that, we say this all the time, there won't be another one like her, but I just don't see how there can be another one like Lindsay Whalen.
One more note on Lindsay, and then we will get to Twitter questions. Again, we appreciate all of our listeners. Thanks also to our producer, Brandon Morton. I do want to tell you about sodastick.com. Landon and the guys have put out double-sided flags. They have a Skoll, Minnesota flag, a Wolf State flag, a Wild North flag, and a Touch 'em All flag. I think you can guess which sports they correspond to. So if you're one of those people who wants to have a flag hanging outside of your house expressing your sports loyalties, they have you covered in that regard. And, of course, they have all the other cool stuff, original Minnesota sports-inspired goods, T-shirts, hats, doodads, special runs, pop-up shops. One of the next pop events is going to be the Summer Beer Dabbler, August 25th, 5 o'clock to 9 o'clock at CHS Field, which, of course, is where the St. Paul Saints play. That's August 25th, 5 o'clock to 9 o'clock. Check that out. And if you ever want to get free shipping on any size order, type in You Betcha into the promo code. You will get free shipping. So if you just want to order one T-shirt, you can do that, and you're not going to have to get charged shipping. Check out sodastick.com or sodastickco.com for all of their products. It's a very service-oriented business. We appreciate their support. The other thing about Whalen is, this is a remarkable thing, too. The Lynx are not afraid to use their popularity and their platforms to champion social issues. And they got up and protested police brutality. And here's Lindsay Whalen, local Minnesotan, and she gets up and does that with her teammates. And I don't think she got any blowback. I think her personality, her standing, her brand, I hate the word brand, but if, for lack of a better word, her brand is so strong, she didn't get blowback for basically doing kind of the same kind of stuff that has gotten NFL players banned from their league.
Yeah, I think Cheryl Reeve was right on Monday when she said Lindsay Whalen could run for governor.
Yeah. Absolutely.
There's no figure in town who has a higher approval rating than she does. Part of it is she picks her spots. Whereas Cheryl is very outspoken about these social issues and very, in frontal and in your face, and that's her approach. Lindsay's got a little different approach with it, but she just has this way of relating, I think, to people. She has a story that people relate to, and so they very much view her as, this is Minnesota's daughter, as Cheryl said, and she's so one of us. Like, yeah. She has the humility, she has the kind of self-deprecation, she has also a competitiveness. She's not like Lisa Leslie or like a 6'4" statuesque athlete. She's a fire plug. She's just everything about her is so relatable, and so people do view her as a collective ours, and so I think that that's very hard to do, and she's reached a level, yes, that she could make more of her voice felt and heard, I think, without having to worry about alienating, because she just has that much credibility stored up in her. And it's like I said, I agree with you. Like, best basketball player that's come out of this state, like, not women's, just best basketball player for everything that she's accomplished.
And two things that you and I know about her that don't always translate to the average fan who doesn't have the access we do, and it hasn't been lucky enough to have Lindsay treat us great over the years. She's incredibly competitive, and she will call out her teammates in practice. She will get in the face of an opponent. There is I don't like the word nasty. There is a toughness there that doesn't always translate because she's such a nice person off the court. She is a tough competitor. And the other thing is, as we saw at the press conference, I love the fact that she let it out. She's funny.
Yeah.
She doesn't always do it in interviews. She doesn't always do it in group settings. But when we're talking to her one-on-one, she's got the Minnesota Rye needling sense of humor.
Yes, absolutely. And I think, like, one of the reasons she crossed over from women's sports hero to kind of this, popular general athlete and personality is she does have, her game is street ball. Like, it's flair, it's swagger, it's trash talk, it's I'm going to knock someone over if I think things aren't going the right way, and that's kind of the ignorant view of women's basketball is it's not that. It's there's not the toughness, there's not the flair, there's not the showmanship, there's not all of those things. She brought all of that to the table, and so people would see that and say, "Man, I can watch this. Like, this is something that I've been waiting to see." Reverse layups and yelling at officials and barking at opponents and things like that. Like, that's all those are all things that we can all say that you want to see more of on the basketball court, and Lindsay was never afraid to hide those emotions and those feelings.
Thanks again to TSR Injury Law and sodastick.com. Have you seen the Instagram post that is kind of, I don't know, it's I'm reading it on a website right now.
Yeah, the Jimmy Butler one.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so Jimmy posted something on Instagram saying, "One job of leaders is to show the lost ones the way. Every last one of these idiots behind me look hella lost, SMH." He is not referring to his teammates. He's referring to his buddies, I guess his entourage as they're walking around. He's needling his guys. But, of course, a Timberwolves fan relates it to him saying, and somebody on Instagram said, "So show Townsend Wiggs the way." Then instead of crying about them, Jimmy responds, "I don't cry about bleep. I'm a grown-ass man. You show them since you have the answers." I'm not going to make much of this, but I'll give you the option of making whatever you want of it.
Yeah, I mean, given all of the other context around it, I can see how people would say, "Oh man, here's another thing." Like, Jimmy, just stand up for your teammates, or just say something like, "Hey, they're grown people. I love my guys, and don't you worry about it," or something like that. That's not Jimmy's style. But I also think that this particular case was Jimmy more taking issue with the messenger than the message.
Yep.
And so he's not saying, I don't care about Townsend Wiggins. He's saying, I don't give a damn about you, whoever you are, and you don't know anything about the situation. So if you have all the answers, you do it. That's like him putting it on that person. And, in a perfect world, would he just say, "Hey, Cat and Wiggs are my guys.
Right.
I got their backs. Don't you worry about them. We're going to be just fine"? Maybe. But also, if you get into that kind of game of responding to every quip on Twitter or Instagram, you're going to drive yourself crazy. So this was, I think, his way of just saying, "Bleep you.
Right.
I'm not giving this the time of day, and I'm moving right along."
And Andrew Wrenchen on Twitter asked the question based off the Instagram post. You wrote an article in Vegas about Tibbs and Layden emphasizing unity among the rumors of Jimmy and the youngsters clashing. Have you heard of any progress?
Yeah, I have not heard yet. I think that I think there's been some individual meetings, like maybe with Tibbs and Jimmy, or Tibbs and some other people in the organization, and trying to kind of map things out and reach some understandings. But there is a sort of what you hear kind of behind the scenes is a little frustration from their side of the equation, saying, "Hey, look, this isn't that big of a deal. Like, we can handle this. It doesn't require sort of this big summit that maybe people think that it needs." Now, I'm of the opinion, and from talking to people and trying to report it out as much as I can, that I do think some things need to be addressed. So if and when that happens is, I don't know. But I believe that it would behoove everyone to get together and have a dinner and air things out and reach some sorts of understanding. But to my knowledge, that has not happened yet, and I don't know how strong the efforts have been to this point to make that happen. But it's something that should happen maybe closer to training camp. But so far, I've been given no indication that we've reached any kind of progress in that area.
We're obviously looking for sponsors for this program. We reach a combined about 150,000 social media followers on this show. The network reaches more than 500,000 social media followers, generate millions of Twitter and other social media impressions, have a very loyal listening audience, and expected to grow even more as we come into a fascinating fall for all Minnesota sports, including the Timberwolves. Again, reach me at jsouhan47@gmail.com if you or anyone would like to sponsor the network as a whole or this show in particular. Another question from Andrew: when it comes to the Cat contract, seems like it may drag out for different reasons. Any positive updates, or things still need to be talked about?
Yeah, they're still in the process of working through things. I believe that this is kind of Cat's one leverage point right now. I think everyone still expects him to sign a deal and reach an agreement and make that all happen. So the only way, if Cat has any concerns, whether it's about Vince LaGarza, whether it's about the team chemistry, whether it's about anything, any schematic things that he has been doing and that he will continue to be asked to do, the way for him to sort of exert and some influence and say, "Hey, look, I have some things that I want to be known," is to let this thing drag out and go on his own time. He saw how Andrew Wiggins did it last year. Wiggins had different reasons for it, but Wig took it right up to training camp and sort of had everyone kind of wondering about what the heck is going on here. I don't think Cat sees it as any kind of issue or problem that people are saying, "Man, I hope he signs it. What's going to happen here? We got to figure things out. We got to make him happy." And so for those reasons, which